V'yinom Adonai Elonu alenu ma'asedenu konena alenu ma'asedenu koneneu. Mazal Tov Yona and his wife, Bezat Hashem. You should raise this daughter to Torah, Mitzvot, Ma'asim Tovim. It's a pleasure to be here again. Baruch Hashem. It's our New York parenting class here in this. Bezat Hashem, he asked me to speak about parenting also because everybody is, Baruch Hashem, almost have kids here. And that's the most important thing, the next generation. A lot of people come to me with questions about what's the right way to educate, to discipline our kids. And our nachat is our kids. And it's good that we hear it when we are young, when the kids are young. Because if we do the right thing, we see miracles when they are older. And if we don't do the right thing, it's become very hard when they get older. So Bezat Hashem, I want to share with you a few tips from our sages, like we did last time. But today, I don't remember what we spoke last time. I don't know if you remember. If everybody was here, huh? At the 22 second, at this one, you remember?
Turkey.
You actually do it?
I started actually.
You started?
Also the turkey, Rabbi. About the turkey. Cool.
I mean, you can repeat it. I wasn't here last time. Don't worry.
Yeah? Okay. So it's good that you remind me that I'm not going to say it again. Yeah, but there's a lot what to talk about, but I'll try to give the most important things that are going to be also practical, so we can come out of this table with the practical advice to actually start work and see change in our day-to-day life with our kids. B'ezrat Hashem. So, King Solomon is basically the smartest man on earth. That's what the Torah say, that there was no person in the world that was smarter than King Solomon. If we want to get an advice for life, first place we should go, it's King Solomon. He has few books, Shir HaShirim, Mishlei, Kohelet. The book that he has more parenting advice is in Mishlei. And one of the most famous phrases there, it's a phrase that I want to start the class with. King Solomon say, Chanoch lana'ar al pi darko, gam ki yazkin lo yasur mimena. You should discipline or educate your child according to his path. And if you do that, gam ki yazkin, even when he gets older, lo yasur mimena, he will still go and continue by this path that you educated him. So there's a lot of what to talk about this phrase, but I wanna focus on the last part of it. Gam ki yazkin lo yasur mimena. As parents, we don't want our kids to do things only when we are there. We want them to do it even when we are not there. Means when I educate my child to behave somehow, I want him to do it for the rest of his life. It doesn't matter if I look at him or I don't look at him, if I'm there or not there. I want him to do it because he wants to do it. For example, to be organized and to clean up his room. Let's say if we educate him to clean the room, I want him to do it not only when I tell him or when I'm there, to do it as a habit. And King Solomon wants to teach us how to do it. How to make sure that our kids not gonna do the things that we tell them only when we tell them, or when we are there because they are scared of us. To discipline them in a way that they want to do it themselves forever. And I want to teach you a secret how to do that. For that, we need to go a little bit to the psychology of Torah. Torah also teaches psychology. We know that we have a mind and we have a subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is only 3% of our mind. Our subconscious mind is more than 97% of our mind. So basically, we are our subconscious mind more than our conscious mind. So I'll just give you an example what is a conscious mind and what is a conscious mind. Conscious mind, for example, I'll give you now, I'll tell you to calculate 4 plus 4 plus 3. So you calculate it now. This is your conscious mind calculating it. But when I speak right now, the information that I give you, your conscious mind gets it. But for example, my actions, you see my movements, right? The hands, my voice, tone, all this is processed by your subconscious mind. And also, according to science today, whatever I speak, you only get a little bit of the actual information. You get more of all the things around. The tone that I was talking, if for example, one word I say a little bit stronger or with like louder voice, or my hands and movements that I do during the speech, your subconscious mind understands different things from it automatically. And that's why the information that you get from the conscious mind is a certain percentage, but more you get from the subconscious mind. So why do I tell you that? Because also in parenting, the conscious mind of the child is even less strong than our conscious mind. So if, for example, for us it's 27% of our brain, for example, for him is 97% of our brain, for him is 98 or 99 even percent of his brain. Children, their subconscious mind a lot stronger than their conscious mind. They're just building their conscious mind. So anything that we speak to the child, if we speak to his conscious mind, it's not gonna stay there, and most likely he's not gonna do what we say. But if we know how to speak to his subconscious mind, here we basically succeed in educating him. So how do we speak to his subconscious mind? For that, we need to know a little bit of science, but this science basically is based on things that the Torah teaches. But I will tell you that in a scientific way because it's easier to understand. There was research that was done by one professor about the subconscious mind. They wanted to see how music affect our feelings. So what did they do? They let people that have pain in hospital, they're in pain, they gave them those pills that make you not feel, how you call them? Morphine? Yeah, morphine. So painkillers, exactly. They gave them painkillers. But at the same time that they gave them painkillers, they also let them listen to a certain type of music. So they will listen to that music again and again while they have the painkillers, and that relief that they had because of the painkillers from their pain was somehow connected together in their subconscious mind with the music. Then they wanted to check it without painkillers, just putting the music, and they saw something very surprising, that all of them felt a lot better, as if they gave them painkillers, but they didn't give them painkillers. Just the mind made that connection between the painkillers and the music that they heard at the same time, and because of that music, they felt the same feeling that they felt in the first time they heard that music. Researches like that were done in other ways as well. I learned hypnotherapy a long time ago because I wanted to know a little bit more about the brain of the person, how to hypnotize and things like that. It's very interesting. And there we also learned and we saw that most of the techniques working on the same thing. It works on, sometimes you can touch a person. I'll give you an example. I'll let you, in hypnotherapy we have sessions, people that are in depression, you can take him out of depression in 2 seconds. What do? You tell them to imagine good things that happened to them in the past. So for example, you tell them, okay, let's go to the best feeling that you had, I don't know, somewhere. So then he remembers, for example, the day of his wedding. He felt very, very good. He goes there in his mind, in his imagination. And at that moment he feels, I tell him to feel what he felt, to see what he saw, to smell what he smelled. And he feels that at that moment. At the same time, I touch when he thinks about this very good time that he had. And he feels it right now because our imagination is very strong. I touch a certain place in his body. For example, I do this. And then I tell him to think about another very, very good situation in his life. Moment. And he thinks about, for example, when he had a first child. And then again, I touch the same place in the body. And then another scenario. And after that, I take him out of hypnosis. And then I just touch that place. And you know what happens? He feels very good. Every time I touch the place where I touched when he thought about good things, right now this has became a button of happiness. Why? Because the subconscious mind remember and connects the touch with the feeling. Okay? This is just an introduction to see how we use it with our kids. It's a very powerful tip, what I'm going to tell you right now. So, same thing happening with our kids. Our kids, their subconscious mind is very receptive, more than their conscious mind. So when we educate them, when we discipline them, we have to work on the subconscious mind. How do we do that? One of the things is we have to understand that everything that we want to teach them and we want them to continue to do, we have to make sure that this is happening in an environment that is positive and happy for them. I'll give you an example with a story. In the army in Israel, there is synagogues, army synagogues. Yeah. And one time, most of the people that are in the army are not very religious. There are some religious people, but some not religious people. But they have synagogues. One time there was a situation that a person had a Yortzeit. Yortzeit is when his father passed away, he needed to say Kaddish. And they didn't have a minyan. So he was calling his friends, the soldiers, to come help him with the minyan. They had exactly 9 people. They were missing 1. Then they called one guy, Yossi, and they told him, please come, you are the 10th. We need you. The guy said, I'm not coming into the synagogue. They said, what's your problem? This guy was religious. He grew up in a religious home and he became secular. When they told him to come to be part of the minyan, he didn't want to. So they said, but what's the problem? He says, I don't come into synagogues. I have a problem with synagogues. So he really asked them, he said, you know what? I know halacha a little bit. I grew up in a religious home. I'm not going to get in. I'm just going to be on the door. And if I stand by the door, it's considered as if I'm in. And you can make your Kaddish. So that's the deal they did with him. And he stand by the door and they made Kaddish. Then one of the guys there told him, Ma ba'ashacha, what's your problem? Like, okay, so come in the synagogue. What? So he explained him what's the problem. He told him that when he was a child, he grew up in a religious home, and his father was forcing him to come to synagogue. And he was sitting beside his father, and every second his father was looking at him, and he's like, pray! Why don't you pray? You know, and sometimes he would give him a little, look at the... he had such a bad memories, experience in the synagogue every day. He said that he can't smell a smell of a synagogue. You know, a synagogue has a smell, like the books and everything, you know, the wood, I don't know. He can't smell that smell. Huh? Rabbis has certain smell. Maybe they use the same perfume, all of them, yeah? He can't smell that smell. That's why he said, I can't come in. He felt he rejects it. His body rejects it. Why? Because of the father. The father did the biggest mistake in life. If you want to make your child like synagogue, you know why we give candies in synagogue? Because of that. Why do they do candies in synagogue? What's the point of the candies? There was one mother in my community says, like, Rabbi, this is not a good custom, you should cancel it. They come, they eat a lot of candies. I said, you're right, but you're not right. You're right, it's not healthy, but you're not right, because we want them to remember for the rest of their life that synagogue is sweet. I don't care about the sugar, it's not very healthy, but it's more healthy for his soul. That's the only way I can make synagogue feel good for him. Give him candies. And it works. So same thing is with us. Everything you want your child to do, you have to make sure that he has a positive environment. That he's in subconscious mind, it's joyful. So for example, when you all have kids that are small, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Not more than that.
No, we have more over there also.
You have...
His kids are...
No, his kids I know. Those guys are an exception.
No,
Huh?
9 years old.
9 years old, 10 years old? Yeah, but not so... Right, Baruch Hashem, you're all young. But when the kids are becoming 15, 16, they have their own... Already they have their... You see that they have their own personality, and they start to do things not like you say. At that moment that they become 15, 16, 17, 18, all what you did to them, this experience that you gave them when they were 5, when they were 4, 6, that's what will affect them at that age. So for example, there's a lot of parents that they complain, our children doesn't want to sit with us on Shabbat table. They just go out. What is the reason it's happening? It's one reason. It's because the Shabbat table was not joyful for that kid when he was a child. For example, if you always criticize him in the Shabbat table, you always tell him, hey, eat, akurat, yeah? Be more polite, be more this, sit straight, sit close to the table. Every 2 minutes you tell him something, and he feels bad. He doesn't feel comfortable at the table. So what happens is that this kid will hate the Shabbat table because of you. You could even make him hate Shabbat because of you. God gave you that big responsibility to make the mitzvot, the Shabbat, all the religious things that we do joyful for him, so he will like it. And if we make this mistake when the kids are small, it's gonna be very hard to change them later. I had in my yeshiva one guy from Bnei Brak. He grew up in a religious environment, and he left. Why did he leave? Because in his home, he didn't get a good experience of Judaism. Everything was very negative. Everything is from fear. So he left. Baruch Hashem, not everybody is lucky like him, but he found another family, a rabbi that he really, really liked, and he took him over, and he was bringing him for Shabbat, and he saw a different experience of Shabbat. And he changed. But not everybody is lucky like this. If you don't give your child that good, positive experience of Shabbat, he won't like Shabbat. That's why my Rabbanim told me always, on Shabbat, we don't punish. It's one of the important things to do. Your kids should know, even sometimes we need to punish our kids because they need to know that, discipline. But not on Shabbat. Why? Because we want to show the kids Shabbat is beautiful. Even if you deserve punishment, Shabbat, okay, you got lucky.
Most of Shabbat they're gonna get.
No. Don't do it Motzei Shabbat. Yeah. In the army, they always used to say, "Lekol Shabbat yesh Motzei Shabbat." You didn't go to the army, right? Every Shabbat has a Motzei Shabbat. No, that's not good. By the way, to threaten the child is very bad. Why? Because they have imagination. They always think worse than what you're going to do. There is even children that committed suicide because of fear of what's going to happen. Don't tell them, okay, wait, I'm going to... No, don't tell them that. This is for them, it's scary. They especially if their father is like, a Bukhari guy. Yeah. They start to imagine what's going to happen. It's very scary now. It's better he knows what's going to happen than you keep him in a question mark.
So giving him consequences, like if you do this, this will happen. But it's not like wait.
No. He needs to know that this is what's going to happen. But on Shabbat, we have to be a lot more kind. Shabbat is like Lifnim mishurat adin. You know what's lifnim? It's like even though you deserve a punishment, because it's Shabbat, Abba on Shabbat or Ima on Shabbat are more kind, more relaxed. It's Shabbat. Shabbat kind of covers everything. And then he remembers Shabbat is wow. Shabbat is a queen. For all his life, he will love Shabbat. This child will always wait for Shabbat because in his subconscious mind, Shabbat is a miraculous day.
Get out of jail free card.
Huh?
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah. You understand? This is how we teach our children, but we do it with the subconscious one. That's why on Shabbat we should also give them candies. Nachon. We understand that there's certain things that are not healthy, and today a lot of families, Baruch Hashem, they're into all this health and I don't give my children juice to drink all week, but on Shabbat, yalla, chavod. Why? Then on Shabbat they remember why I can drink Coke. Like for them it's like And then they remember Shabbat very well. Same thing is home. When the child goes out in school with friends, he goes through different experience. If he has fun more outside than he has inside, we're in a little bit of a problem. Why? If he feels not fun maybe it's not the right word to say, but if he feels happier, if he feels home outside, comfortable outside more than inside, that's not good. It means he wants to run away. And now he can't run away because he's small, but when he's gonna be at the age, he will want to run away. We have to make sure that our children feel comfortable at home. Comfortable means happy. Like we said last time, hug, kiss, right? All those things that showing love. They should feel that home is a place that we enjoy, that we want to come back to. That is kif, fun, at home. And the parents need to do everything to make home like this. Now, it doesn't mean to give them all what they want. And I have to be clear with that. To give the child all what he wants, it's a disaster. That's not good. That's called spoiling a child. and that's killing his future. We shouldn't spoil our children, but we should give them love and comfort, and they should feel at home, safe and secured and happy. How do we do that? First of all, no criticism. Criticism is very bad, especially in our generation. People don't like criticism. People don't listen to criticism. We have to set up rules at home, but to not criticize the child. We can tell them there is rules at home, you need to do them. And he needs to know the rules. That's why Abba and Ima has to be very, very organized. What the rules of the house. What we do, what we don't do. And then you tell your child, I'm sorry, I want you to do it, but that's the rule. The rule at home, that we don't do it. I would like to give you, but that's the rule. For example, we don't scream at home. If you make a rule, he knows. We don't. You want to scream outside, don't scream at home. That's the rule of the house. I don't criticize you while you're screaming. No, that's not good. That's the rule of the house, and everybody needs to do.
So
Please.
They don't do it. Then we do.
So you tell them.
Rule.
Yeah, so you
criticize.
it's not criticizing. It's telling them the rules of the house. There's a big difference. You can criticize at putting down someone.
It says like you told him like his personality. Like,
Yeah, you say, why you are screaming? This is very bad to say. First of all, when you say why, it's a question. So why? What does he needs to answer you
They
back?
don't answer.
Huh?
They don't have
They don't answer, but their minds right away. Why do you scream? Because I'm bad. Because I'm, what should he think? You understand? You put him in a place where he feels very low. That's not good. In general, I had a whole lecture about the word why. In parenting, the word why is bad. Don't say why. You can tell him, don't scream at home. We don't scream at home. But don't tell him, why do you scream at home? What do you want him to answer back? So you can set up rules in the house, and you can tell them you have to follow the rules. Sometimes, even when it's very hard for the child to follow the rules, you can even tell him, I would want you. I would like to give you the permission to do what you want, but I can't. There's rules. That's better than putting him down and telling him, you're not, why do you scream? Why do you do that? Why you don't clean your room? There is a rule in the house. We are living in the same house and we have a rule. And they understand that a lot better when we do that in this way. So we have to make sure that the house is comfortable for the child. The house is happy for the child. And for that, we as parents, we have to be very, very careful to not scream at home. To not, for example, when a wife and a husband are fighting, it's happening a lot. In every family, it's happening. But we have to understand that we don't do it. We don't do it where the kids are. That should be a rule for us. You don't argue where the kids can hear you. You want to argue, B'ezrat Hashem, you have a bedroom, close the bedroom, argue until tomorrow. But not beside the kids. Because when they feel that, right away they feel home it's a place of tension. Home it's a place of uncomfortable. I want to run away. He's not going to run away now, but he's going to run away when he's 15, 16, 17. He would not want to be at home. Or maybe he would be at home because it's cheaper to leave at home. But every situation that you would want to speak to him or you want to sit all together in the table, he would want to go to his friends. Because he feels more comfortable with his friends.
But that's like if it's constant fighting. If you're saying like the husband and wife are constantly fighting, yes.
Yeah, if it's happened once in a while.
Like it's normal.
Yeah,
The
nachon,
kids
nachon.
also they need to see normality, like normal stuff.
Sometimes it
They
happens
cannot,
like this.
they cannot think that life of husband and wife is beautiful all the time. Then they're gonna go into wrong reality also.
Yeah, I heard this too. Where
there is always arguments between husband and a wife, but those arguments, not just between husband and a wife. Let's say, imagine you go to a synagogue, and in that synagogue, every day there is arguments in that synagogue. Would you want to stay in that synagogue? No, right? So, the vibe of the place, the percentage. If we have 80% positive and positive feeling, positive words, positive everything, and 20% sometimes, okay, there is tension, there is sababa, fine, it's okay. But when you see that the vibe of the house is a tension vibe, you know, the children would not want to stay in this house. Another thing, we spoke about discipline. We said that from one hand, we have to love our kids, to give them love, to give them comfort, to let them feel that the house is a happy place. That's why it's very good to put music at home. Good music, happy music. To have friends coming over, to be... The house has to be a happy place. From another side, we shouldn't spoil our children. And this is a very, very important point. Did we speak about spoiling last time? I don't remember. You don't remember it. Huh?
Oh, like make them work for it.
You made them go
Like if they want to cook.
You do that? You actually do that? Is it working? Huh?
This guy over there, this guy's a top. He's a top.
Yeah, fair that you remember that. That's very important.
repeat that for the people that work there?
Let a couple people-
I remember what I said, but
You have-
It was
even
half
when
a
you
year
have
ago.
When you have a son, even when you give him a thing spin, you make him work a little bit.
Nachon.
You don't give nothing until they work.
yeah,
for it.
this is a Kabbalistic rule, by the way. The Kabbalistic rule says there is, when you get an enjoyment, in Kabbalah it's called light. Every enjoyment, like for example, now you ate this very nice steak. Is it steak? Yeah.
I think it's steak.
So we got an enjoyment. We got a light. That light is joy. There's two types of lights. There's a direct light, or yashar, and there is or chozer. Chozer is a turning light. According to Kabbalah, when you get a direct light, it doesn't stay. It goes away. When you get a turning light, it stays for longer time and it absorbs in you. So for example, every enjoyment that I get, and this enjoyment was direct without me doing something for that, that enjoyment would not absorb in me and would not stay. So for example, if you paid for food or you ate for free, there's a big difference in your enjoyment. No problem. If you are the one who cooked it and you worked for that and then you ate it or you just ate it for free, there is a big difference in that enjoyment. Why? If you did something for it and then you ate, the enjoyment stays in you, the fulfillment stays in you for a lot longer time. And you appreciate that thing more. Same thing works with the kids. So if you give the kid something for free, the kid coming home after daycare or after school, and you give him meat to eat, meat with potatoes. And he eats it. You put it on the table, you cooked it, you put it for him, you gave him the water, you even put the chair, so he's gonna... You did everything for him. He just... Sometimes they even put it in his mouth, you know? What you did right now, you basically made the enjoyment of this food, the fulfillment of this food to be less to your child. Why? Because he didn't do anything for that. There is a rule in life, God made it rule, this rule, that when you work for something and then you get it, you actually feel fulfilled. You enjoy it more for a longer time, and you don't want you don't desire a lot more. But when you don't do anything and you just get it to your mouth, first of all, you don't enjoy much. Second, you don't appreciate because you didn't do anything for that. Same thing is working with our children. There is certain moms that they think they are the best moms. Why? Because they do everything for their children. She takes the apple and she peels the apple and put it in it. You know, she thinks she's the best mom. In fact, she destroys her child's future. I'll tell you how. This type of children that they got everything very, very easy, they got used to it. And they, in their mind, they think that the world owns them. That's how it should be. When they grow up a little bit, they go to school. When they want something and their friends don't give it to them, what happens? He gets mad. Because it's against the rules he was raised by them. I got everything I want. It was very easy to get it. Now I need to work? Why? He doesn't have the powers to work. Because everything was very easy. He's going to have a hard time in school. He's going to grow. He's going to have a hard time with his spouse. He's going to find a nice girl. They're going to start living together or get married. And then he will see that he asks her for certain things, but she's not like his mom. That's not easy to get. And then he starts to fight. Yeah, I'm saying men, but it also works the opposite, right? So basically, this mom or this father, they ruined their child future because they were good. You understand what's happening here? We are being very, very good, and basically, we are being very, very bad. Exactly.
I've been waiting 5 years for my wife to kill my ass.
Your mother were feeling it for you? Yeah. Yeah, then you have expectations, you know? That's a problem. We have expectations, and that's normal. That's how we grew up. That's why I told you last time that even for my baby, she's a baby. I never give her the food. I put it a little bit far away from her so she will come and take the food herself. Because they need to do something for that. Sometimes, after we give the food, there is a dessert. In my home, sometimes dessert, it doesn't come free. You need to do something. Okay, guys, clean all the table. And when everything is clean, we'll get a dessert. So they clean the table. And then they will get it, and you will see that they will enjoy the dessert.
That's directly from your brother's videos.
Huh?
All your little siblings, they're all helping him cook in all the videos.
You saw his videos? You're fair. You're a kitchen puppy guy. You're fair. Yeah. So yeah, this is how you do that. If you let them work, after they work, they will also appreciate you. They will appreciate, but when it's very easy, and you can see it in your life, when you get something very easy, you don't appreciate it. And we have to apply it to in our life, to our small kids and also to the bigger kids.
Do you think it's too late already?
No.
Too late?
Yeah.
Oh, for you. I thought you said it's a late time. I was like, next to you.
Actually, after the
I'm
main,
already ruined. I'm already. So
there was one lady. She came to Rabbi Hirsch, one of the big rabbanim. She asked him, Rabbi, my son doesn't listen to me. Everything I tell him, it doesn't listen to me. So you know what the rabbi told her? He told her, what do you mean? Until now, you listen to him. So why you want him now to listen to you? That was his answer. And she understood that. She was this type of a mom, that she listened to her child. Means, listen to everything he wants. When he cries a little bit, right away she comes. What happened? Don't cry. When he wants to buy something, she right away buys for him. So she listened to him all the time. Why would he listen to you? According to the life, according to him, is Ima listen to me, not me listening to Ima. And sometimes, because we are very kind, we make that mistake. Especially people that their parents were very tough with them, and they didn't give them anything, which is also wrong, to be too much tough. So they said, I will give everything to my child. But then they don't understand, they make the opposite mistake. They give everything and then the child doesn't appreciate it, and also he's not strong. Because everything is easy. Everything gets very easy. So that's another important thing. Another tip that I think is very important for you to know. You send your children to daycares? To school? Camps, yeah. In our society, most of the time the children are in school. Religious schools until 4. You don't see your child from 8 to 4. He comes home, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 hours, he goes to sleep. Most of the time, he is in their hands. The school educates them. So they play a big role in the education of our kids. Now, we don't have a control on that. We don't know who is the teachers. We don't know what they do. I'll give you some tips that are very, very important to do, so you can make sure that the children get a good attention and everything what they need in school. First of all, every parent needs to be in touch with the teacher or with the daycare. Yeah. With the daycare teacher. You have to be in touch with them. Why? Because it works like this. Teachers, when the parents don't ask questions or they're not involved, so they don't take seriously your child. They don't give them, because they know they don't need to answer to anything. But when they see that you are actually very involved and you want to know what's happening and you are talking to them all the time about your child, they will be more careful with him. That's why one of the parents has to be in touch with the teacher. Call once in a week and ask, how is my child doing? Anything I can do? I want to know. Tell me. That's one thing that is very, very important. Second thing is bribe. We have to give them something. Okay, and that's allowed according to halakha, and that's very, very important. Give the teachers gifts in the beginning of the year. Okay?
All holidays.
At the end of the year, Pozna, right?
Pozna end of the year.
Just beginning soon.
If you know that he's going to be the teacher also next year, so give now. But you have to make sure at the beginning of the year, after a few weeks, go get some money, get a gift card if you don't want to give money, and go tell them, listen, this is for you for Rosh Hashanah. Okay? He got it, and now he's going to look at your child with a good eye. You understand? That's how it works. It's very important. People don't say it, but this needs to be said. Because we are people, and the teachers are people, and when they get something from you, they like your child more. That's it. And if they like your child more, they will do more than for them. So we have to make sure that we give something to the teacher, and we have to make sure that we speak to the. You can also come to the school and tell them, listen, if you need anything, I'm here for you. Let me know. Donation. If you need me to be involved in something or help in something. From time to time, your child needs to see that you're coming to school also, to see your face there. To see that you're involved. Especially fathers. Fathers usually like, okay, I'm at work, I'm in Manhattan, I don't have time right now. Sometimes come and be there. You know how much the child is happy to see his father coming to... He feels, he cares about me, He came in the middle of the day to speak about me. It's very important for the children. When they see us, when we come to the school, when we step into the school and we speak to the teachers and we are involved. Now, a lot of times, again, I don't know if you're in this situation yet with your kids, but a lot of times there's complaints. The teacher calls and says, listen, your child is beating other children, is doing balagan. How do we face this one? What should we do? Take the teacher's side, take the child's side. What do you say? What's the right thing to do?
I don't know, but I have this problem every day, so I'm really looking forward to your answer. My son beats up everybody in the school. I know where he gets it from.
Yeah. You know where he gets it from?
You're just lucky my son's not in your school.
Yeah. So, in this situation, you have to be very political. You know what's being political? When you speak to the teacher, you have to listen to the teacher and be with the teacher. I understand you. You're right. It's a problem. When you speak to the child, you have to not good child. Not good child, yeah. You have to understand. You have to listen to what he says. Why did you beat your friends? Oh, but you don't understand. They did this, they did that. I just was, defending myself. Yeah, but you have to listen to him and tell him, I understand you. I feel you. Don't tell him, no, the teacher said you're wrong. No, that's not right. I understand you. I feel your pain. I will speak to the teacher about all those children that did that to you. But I want to teach you one thing. That in this situation, that's not the reaction you should do. And here we're coming to, I think, one of the most important things that helped me with my kids and myself in general. And also it's an advice of Rabbi Nachman from Breslov. When you want your kid to listen to you, to listen to your advice, it has to come in a certain form. Children usually don't listen to commandments. When you commend them to commands, they don't listen to things that we say directly. But they listen to stories. They listen to parables, mashalim. They like it. The subconscious mind likes it. And that's why every parent need to have a vocabulary of stories and parables. That's why it's good that we learn Torah. You listen to a lot of lectures and you hear stories, or you know stories about your family and your grandfather or grandmother. Because any advice you will tell directly, most likely your child, when he is small, is not going to remember, is not going to fulfill. But any advice you will tell him through a story, he will remember it for the rest of his life, and when he's going to be a grandfather, he's going to tell it to his grandkids. That's why when I speak to my kids, it's always with stories. Always with stories. They fight with each other. I come, I have a story for you guys. And I take both of them and I tell them, listen, there was a story with Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul. Huh? No, they like it. You know how I made them like it? Every night since they are kids, I tell them stories. If they misbehave, there's no story.
How many stories do you know?
Huh?
What if you're not a storyteller? Like,
On the
Become one. Become one.
I gotta call my father more for that.
Yeah. I mean, this works for us, you know, but I'm telling you, if you want to be a good father or a good mother, you need to know a lot of short stories. Especially about tzaddikim, righteous people. Stories of tzaddikim. Rabbi Nachman from Breslov said that, you know, he was 38 years old when he passed away. And he reached levels that we can say nobody reached in spirituality. And he said in his book that one of the reasons I reached those levels was because I heard a lot of stories of righteous people. Because he grew up in the Baal Shem Tov's house. His mother was the granddaughter of Baal Shem Tov. And a lot of people came there on and off, and they were always telling different stories about Baal Shem Tov, about the students of Baal Shem Tov. And he heard all of that, and this gave him motivation. Stories, that's I think, the strongest thing in life. All the big successful people, also in money and other things, they got motivated by a story. And people, when you tell them a commandment, when you commend people, people don't like to listen. They feel you put them down. It's as if I know and you don't know. But when you say it's story, it's just, okay, I just come to share a story. You will take whatever you want to take from the story. And I'm not just talking about stories on righteous people and tzaddikim. Also your parents, your grandparents. I'm sure there is a lot of things that happen to them in life that is very similar to what's happening to your kids. You can tell them that. I'll give you an example. My grandmother, she got married when she was 30 years old. Why she got married when she was 30? In Uzbekistan, that was like a babushka already, a grandmother. But she got married very late. Why? She was one daughter, and she was taking care of her mom. Her mom was blind. And all the guys that came to date, they wanted her to come to live at their place. And she rejected. She says, no, I have to stay with my mom. So whoever wants to get married with me has to come to live with me and my mom. So she was respecting her mother. And she lived a very long life, almost 100 years old. She just passed away last year. And I always tell my children, why do you think she lived so much? Because she was respecting her mother. They remember that, and they understand what is a respect. But if I would tell them, you have to respect your mother, it's not going to work. But when you tell them that story, that's it. You got them for life. So, if you have a lot of stories to tell about yourself, about your wife, about your parents, about the Torah. That's why it's good to be Talmid Chacham, to know Torah. Torah has a lot of stories. Even the very classical stories. They are jealous. One child is jealous in another child. Tell them, okay guys, I want to tell you something. This is exactly what happened to Yosef and his brothers. And look what came out of it. And you tell them that stories. And then they understand how bad is it to be jealous, what it can cause. So, I think this is one of the most important things, that if we take it seriously, you don't need anything. You literally don't need anything else. If you're a good storyteller, you know how to give them those examples without telling them what to do. We don't command them. We just tell them. That will make sure that they will do the right thing. And also, like we said, nights. The most important times with kids is morning and night. Morning is when they wake up, and night is before they go to sleep. That's the places when you should put all your focus on. And those places usually are the most, איך אומרים? the most tense times. Because morning, hey, we are late, we have to go to school, we have to go to daycare, and everybody's there. And so many parents do that mistake that they don't give that morning the right feeling. Because we are in a rush, and it's better to be late in 10 minutes, but let the morning be peaceful and nice. Let them come out of the house with a smile. Baruch Hashem, it was a good morning. They woke up nice, or they went to sleep with a good feeling. But when he goes to sleep after you scream at him that he's too much time taking him a shower or whatever, he goes to sleep with that feeling. That's very bad. During the day it's fine. During the day a lot of things happens. But let's try in the morning and at night to make them feel the best they can. And it's right that it's rush hours, but it's better to be late or to not be on time. But we know that our kids sleep quiet. And here the role of the father also has to come in, because most of the time the mother is with the children. The father is not very involved, which is normal, and that's how it is. But sometimes, maybe once a week or twice a week, it's good that the father will put them to sleep, if it's possible. How to put them to sleep? With a story. Every time. Should be like a routine. Kiss the mezuzah, Shema Israel, and give them a story. When they have that routine, they also know, okay, we go to sleep. They're not going to reject and say, I don't want to go to sleep. They know already, okay, I just kissed the mezuzah, I should myself, so it means I need to go to sleep. That's how they think. And when you tell them a story, they will go to sleep very, very good. And also, you teach them something for life. I talk to my kids now. I have a child, he's 12 years old. Sometimes I tell him a story that I told him when he was 6. He remembers the story more than me. I just start the story and he tells me all the story. I told you when you were 6. He remembers that. Do you know what I mean? It means that it went into the subconscious, the motherboard of his mind. That's it. It's going to be there forever. And he's going to also take the message from the story. But that's because I was always telling them the story before they go to sleep. And you should make it as fun. Means make it fun and also make it in a way that if you misbehave, you don't get a story. It means the story is it's a priority. And then they will feel, okay, I want to hear that. We have to also be businessmen and make them want that. So I think this is a few tips that I could tell you today. If you have more questions, B'ezrat Hashem, we will do. But if we can summarize that, we spoke about spoiling, that this is not a Jewish way of educating our kids. We should give them love, feel comfortable, feel good at home, so they will want to stay at home. Feel good in synagogue, feel good on Shabbat. Anything that has to do with religion has to be positive. Never force them. There is no forcing in spirituality. It's a rule in Kabbalah. No forcing in spirituality. Don't force them to say bracha. When I want my kids to say bracha, for example, I put them water. I say she'akol ne'ya bidvaro. I don't tell them say she'akol ne'ya. I just say in general she'akol ne'ya bidvaro. I give them a burekas to eat. I say mezonot. They will choose if they want to say mezonot or they don't.
If I eat a piece of bread, then you will say, go wash. And I'm used to washing, don't tell them,
Yeah,
wash.
so what we do before you give them the piece of bread, you give them, so let's wash.
Or if you're not eating, you're not overeating. You tell them, go wash. What's the problem?
You can say let's wash.
Once in a while, just
Nachon,
it
but
doesn't have to be every time.
it's good to. But again, when you say something directly, they feel, oh, I have to. Sometimes they have to understand they do have to do it. But
There's rules. So
Nachon, it's okay to say that. But again, the more they grow, when they are kids, when they are small, it's fine. But when he is 12 years old, 13 years old,
he already knows. He told me
and you
that.
still tell him, go wash, it's like, Abba, I need to choose to wash. You know? You can say, let's wash.
I'm talking about now, like when they're little, to teach them, to educate them.
You can do that. You can do that. But again, I prefer for myself,
Don't say anything.
no, I do say. I say, let's wash. You know? Let's wash our hands and eat bread. Even if I don't eat. I say it and sometimes one of the children would not wash and would just eat. I won't say anything. Why? Because I don't want him to... He knows.
Association,
He knows. He knows. B'ezrat Hashem.
Doing it on purpose. It's one of those
Okay, בסדר, אין בעיה. אין בעיה. No problem. After that, for example, he didn't wash, or he didn't... You can make rules at home. For example, I made a certain rule. You don't wash, you don't get a drink. I mean, a sweet drink. You know, so on Shabbat, if you didn't wash or eat kazait, if they don't eat kazait, they don't get a drink. So he wants to get a drink, so he will go and wash. Understand? But I didn't force him. That's just the rule. You understand? We have to be very smart. You don't force him, but this is the rule of the house. You want to get a Sprite? No problem. You need to wash and eat kazait. I think I didn't see you washing. You understand? So you don't make it as I force you. You make it as a general rule of the house. But in general, tell them, do, pray, say bracha. This is not working and it's not good. You can say in general, this is the bracha for that. The bracha for this is shakor. He will choose to say the bracha. That's a better education. Sometimes to also give them a good feeling when they did a good bracha. For you saw one time he did the bracha very, very well. Go take a candy, give him like this, tell him, listen, I really enjoyed your bracha. That's it. This is already will make everything. He will understand. He will feel good with that, and he will want to continue to do that. So pay attention to the times that they do something good. Reward them for that. This will give them motivation for the next time. That's a lot better than criticizing them why they don't do. Okay? And we said also stories. That's a very, very important thing.
Robert, can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
What about grandparents? Sometimes there's cases where the grandparents spoil the children, even though it's against my will in my own home, but I don't want to tell my parents what they're doing is wrong because I don't want to give them as a michani. I don't want to tell them what they're doing is wrong. I don't know how do I balance that line of dishonoring my parents by telling them not to do that when the clear rules of my house are don't do anything unless he does something like a reward, but they just come and they bring him 10 toys and he doesn't understand why am I getting 10 toys from my grandparents but nothing from my parents only once a week on Shabbat. It's confusing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you balance that aspect? Because I can't just tell my mom, Bush, don't bring anything anymore. Maybe I'm dishonoring my parents. I'm embarrassing in front of the kids. Mama, don't do it. Oh,
Not in front of the kids.
But they're gonna say, "Я бабушка, я дедушка, это мои дети, я сам
Yeah.
взял, все иди отсюда."
Yeah.
You know how Russian parents are, bro. They're gonna want to bring toys.
That's a good question. So I'll tell you. First of all, the grandparents lechatchila, they shouldn't do things without asking the parents because they can destroy the parents' discipline by, for example, you gave them a punishment for something, and the grandparents came and they just destroyed them. So of course, you have to be in touch with each other and speak about those issues.
Luckily, I can tell my parents, please stop doing that. It's not dishonoring them.
The way you can tell them. But you have to tell them that in a very respectful way. Okay? Don't just stop doing it. You can come to your parents and say, Ima, Abba, I have a problem and I want to discuss the problem with you. The problem is like this. My child is becoming very spoiled recently and we're learning that it's not good for him. We see that he's not appreciating different things and I think that the amount of presents that you give him just because, without a reason, it's a little bit more than we want. So please, if it's possible, to give him only in a special occasion and stuff like that. I appreciate it. If they don't listen, they don't listen. But there's no isur, there's no prohibition to ask your parents something. There is a prohibition to tell them that they are wrong.
But that's my question. Is my request
I don't tell you you are wrong. Maybe you are right, but I ask you if it's possible to do it in a different way. That's it.
So the request implies they're wrong.
No. You can even tell them, I know that you're doing a good thing, but I just think that for my child right now, this is going to be more healthy. And that's it. You're allowed to say that to your parents.
As long as I'm not dishonoring.
Yeah.
Without kids, of course, yeah?
The kids shouldn't listen, they hear that, of course, yeah.
Or at least in your house it's not, but in their house it's different story.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
What?
Can you have different rules in your house and then like your grandparents, like your child's grandparents?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you cannot, if you give your grandparents to be with your children, you can't tell them 100 rules because this is them and this is you, you know, and they understand. In the grandparents' house, this is the rules. In your house, now there's certain major things, yeah, that you can ask for your grandparents. For example, let's say they don't watch TV or whatever, something like that. That is very, very important. You can tell your grandparents, Ima, please, I know maybe you're not, but my kids don't watch TV. I don't give them TV. Don't give them TV, please. You're allowed to do that.
But in their house, in parents' house,
In parents' house,
you
yes.
can tell them what to do.
Again, if she watched TV for herself, no, that's her thing. But you tell her, I keep my children, I don't want them to watch this channel or this thing or this, that. You can ask that, your parents, because again, this is your education at the end of the day, you know? If they think differently, they should make more kids and educate their kids, you know?
Always wanted a little brother.
Yeah.
Papa John, you have one more
Yes.
second. When you said we don't do this, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you're saying we don't do this, we don't, like these are the rules,
Yeah.
but the kid's going to continue screaming in your face. You're going to say it a million times. They're going to say, still screaming. We don't scream at home. Ah, we don't scream at the
No.
same screaming, hitting the brother.
In every country, there is rules, and there is also consequences to those who doesn't keep those rules. Okay, so the children needs to know that there is rules, there's consequences to the rules. Now, who decides the consequences? You. Yeah.
You're going to need all of them.
It's that.
Oh, it's a fork. The humor.
You have to have, this is what we said, I don't like the word punishment, but okay, a result. Yeah, there is a result to everything you do. Now, you have to set up a rule. We don't scream at home, okay? If you scream at home, first time, sometimes it's a reaction, it's instinct. But second time already, after we told you, there's going to be a punishment for that. What is the punishment? Now you have to be very careful. Okay? You have to give a punishment that you know that he will actually worry about, yeah?
Just very little, very small.
No, it's very easy, I'll tell you.
And what age does this start? Because my parents say, on не ругай, он не понимает ничего right now. So at what age can I start doing things? And then at what age?
Discipline starts from 2 or 3 years old already.
You can't rationalize with a 2-year-old. I'm trying to envision, like you're saying, like you tell a 2-year-old, okay, like we don't scream in the house, right? But they don't comprehend.
So what? Again, they see. First of all, they do. They don't listen to your words. They listen to your actions. Okay. So I'll give you an example. If he screams at home, you can right away take him. We don't scream and put him somewhere else. Put him in his crib. We don't scream at home. Now he understand I did something wrong. Understand? He understand. If he touched something that is not allowed, say, don't touch it. Second time, you still touch it, you just take him out of there. And you say, we don't touch it. Understand? Very easy.
But during that time that you're taking him, извините, Rabbi, я не знаю,
Yeah.
может, мои дети немножко другие.
Okay,
As
no.
you're picking them, they could be going tantrum.
No problem. No problem. Go tantrum. Abba is the boss.
But what do you put him in the, you take it from here?
Again, if he touches something that is, let's say electricity or something that is dangerous, would you care about his tantrum? No, you just take him out of there. Rule is a rule. Okay, now don't make too many rules at home because then your house is going to be a jail. Okay, there are certain rules that are very important. The rest, give them a free. You know, they have to be free.
You said the house has to be a comfortable place if you're going to make all these rules.
That's what I'm
You don't wanna
saying.
be there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I didn't say a lot of rules. I say you have to understand what's the very, very important thing in your house. Every house is different. You know, you pick those very, very important things. The rest you ignore. You let them be. You have to let them, leave. For example, mess. Okay? If you have more than 2 kids, you have to understand your house is not going to be a museum. Okay? And if you want your house to be a museum, pull your kids. They need to do mess. So this thing you have to ignore a little bit. Don't make that rule that everything has to be... no. But there are certain things, for example, beating your brothers, fighting, things like that you can put certain rules there. Or times to go to sleep. Every family, and sometimes it changes, but you have to have certain rules, not too much, but those rules that you put has to be clear, has to be said before, and has to have a result if they don't do it. What can you do? It depends on the age. If they're a little bit older, you can tell them something they like, they're not going to get it. Oh, they're not going to go to Safta, they're not going to go to Grandma.
Do you have to stick on that?
You have to. When you said something, you have to stick on that unless...
I'm better not to say.
Yeah. Less to say, but whatever you say, you have to be...
Like let's say you said, okay, if you do this, I'm not going to give you X, Y, and Z. They did it, and now X, Y, and Z time came. It was the first time. You said, okay, you know what? Please. I'll get you this time. Next time.
Usually it's not good. Sometimes it's something is very important. Again, no, usually it's not good because then he feels that Abba, he doesn't have a word. You understand? He has to understand that if you said something, that's it. Unless you know that it's very, very important for him, you can say, we recalculated with Ima and we'll let you know.
So the kid doesn't realize how strong the severity is until when they get to that situation when they realize they're about to lose that thing.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes he needs to lose something to understand that he needs to lose.
You feel like they understood it. That's why you would give it to them.
Okay, so again, this is to you. To you to decide. Okay, but if it's very often that you say, okay, you're gonna get this punishment, and then you forgive him, and again, and you forgive him, your child will understand that Abba doesn't have a back,
Yeah, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
How do you stop the child from hitting siblings like that? No matter what I'm doing, I can't stop it.
He's 2, she's a baby.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 3 in November.
Oh, he's
That's
very.
too young, right? That's why I asked earlier.
The only thing you can do, if he does something to other people, the only thing you can do when he does it, you tell him no, you take him out of there, so he will get a small shock.
Then he starts hitting me. He starts swinging.
You hold him. He has to understand that you're stronger than him. It's healthy for him.
They throw a tantrum.
Okay, we have to see. Yeah.
I'm just saying that at three, that's why I was asking earlier, the age. If you're telling me it's too young, I'm not going to stress out too much right now.
Rabbi, didn't expect he came into a house full of messed up kids, bro.
A 2-year-old kid needs to, if he beats other kids, you have to take him away from there, okay? And put him aside, okay? Even put him in a special room, be with him there until he calms down. Give him an hour to calm down. but he needs to calm down. You have to understand that he cannot do that anymore in this age. If you will let them in this age, it's going to be a lot more of a problem later. Yes.
So along the same line of this questioning, I have an almost 4-year-old that sometimes whenever her sister does something, out of a reaction, she kind of kicks. But I'm not there with them. Let's say I'm in the kitchen and they're in the living room, and I just hear the little one just starting to cry. You know, what do I do in that?
If you don't know what exactly happened, don't get involved. You don't know what happened. You cannot judge something you don't know. In general, when two kids are fighting, you don't know what happened. They come to you, Abba, he beat me, Abba, he started. You become the judge. You can't judge. Why? Because you don't know exactly what happened, and if your judgment is going to be wrong, that's an halachic problem. You punish someone who doesn't need to be punished. Okay? So what you can do is, there's few options to that. There's one option that says, if two kids are fighting, okay, let them deal with themselves. Tell them, Kiviyachol, I'm not getting involved. Okay? There is rules in the house. You have to follow the rules. I'm not getting into your fight. Tistadru levad.
But if they're that would be if they're on the same like mental level. But if one is a lot younger and cannot speak up for themselves, and the older one takes advantage, then
Right.
you like deal with your problem.
You can tell them that you both get a punishment. You make sure you don't fight with each other. If you fight with each other, I don't know who is right and who is not right. I can't give one punishment and one not. Explain that to them before. I will need to punish both of you.
But what if the older one wasn't even at fault to begin with?
I am sorry. I am sorry, but I have no other choice.
Oh, if they win the fight, you're saying?
You understand? I have no other choice. Unless you both now make peace and you solve it yourself, or I'll get involved and both of you get it.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Okay? You don't have any other choice. That's what I would do. Beseda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, я первый скажу. Where is this line when you said that you're telling them don't, and you're saying they right away feel like, oh, I'm bad, I'm a bad kid. Where is this line where you're saying, okay, you're putting them away, don't do this or this? Now they're gonna think that
If
I'm
you
a bad kid, I'm getting punished, I'm this.
No.
Like I feel like the line is just very hard for me to
No.
find.
You don't tell him he's a bad kid. You just remove him from doing bad. Okay? Now, a lot of time when they're a little bit older, you can tell them, oh, your Yetzer Hara made it. Yeah, your evil inclination, it's not you. Don't let your evil inclination overcome you. You're a good child. I know you. Don't let this desire that you have to overcome you. This is how you should tell him when he is older. If parents give hugs, always good words, compliments, very important to their children, even when you discipline them or punish them, they still know you love them. Because you always tell them compliments. He comes from the school with, he drew something. Oh, that's so beautiful. You're the best painter. Whatever. If you tell him always compliments, even when you punish him, he will know you love him. So don't worry about that. Now, when you punish only because there's no other choice. And you always tell him before. This is going to happen if you're going to do that. That's not me. That's the rules of the house. That's it.
I have a question, like in terms of Shabbat. So, let's say a 4-year-old, for example, coloring on Shabbat.
Yeah.
Because let's say she'll ask me, oh, can I color on Shabbat? And then, let's say other kids are doing it. Sometimes I say, okay, it's up to you. Like big kids don't color on Shabbat, but you decide you want to color or not. Is that bad to say, or should I say don't color? Or
So first of all,
too many rules.
parents should clean the area from things that are muktzeh on Shabbat. This is already will help you a lot. If even make the kids do it. So for example, give them before Shabbat, they have to be involved in the preparations of Shabbat. So, for example, you tell one to make the tissues, someone else to remove the muktzes, and give that kid that he has the biggest problem with touching those things to be in charge of that. You tell, you are going to remove all the muktzes of Shabbat. Find them before and put them somewhere so I can put them up, so nobody can touch them. Okay? And she will get a candy for that. So then, first of all, you clean the area from those muktzes, and then they don't have that desire to play with that because they don't see it. Second, you taught her that this is not allowed on Shabbat. She did it herself. You understand? So, because we should tell them this is muktzeh. And if they touch something, muktzeh. Throw it. Tell them you can just throw it. It's muktzeh. You know? So they will understand this is muktzeh. That's it.
If they continue doing, you shouldn't fight with them. You just let them do it. Because
I would not fight. If they already do, it's kids, okay? But then, again, next Shabbat, you should teach them, listen, this is muktzeh, we're not allowed to do it. Let's pick up all the muktzehs and put it together so we hide it and we don't use it on Shabbat. And that's it. I think it's going to be fun for them and also going to be less headache for you. Yes.
Can you address dress code with girls? Do you force it?
What age? What age?
10, 11.
Yes, so first of all, those things has to be automatic. This is what we wear. You buy them the clothes. This is what we wear. Okay? Now, if they start to want things that are different, again, 10 years old, 12 years old, they're still in school, they're still in charge. You are in charge. They're at home, they're going to school, a certain school. You have to explain them that this is what we wear, this is the right thing to do, and motivate them in that and everything else. When they start to buy themselves already, you don't have a power on that. But also giving them a chizuk. When they put something tzanua, tell them, wow, this is so beautiful on you, and you look like a tzadikah. You know, also the parents give them an example. You know, but you don't force. You know, we don't force it, but we tell them this is what needs to be done. This is what I buy for you.
I have a friend, her daughter is 7 years old, and she's giving her a very hard time. The majority of her clothes are modest clothes, but she has like her grandparents. Sometimes they get the less religious generation. They give, and it's just hanging in the closet, or even like shorts to wear underneath the skirt. She'll just want to wear that, and she does not address the problem. She'll throw it. Really
First of all, you need to know the halacha. Don't be more strict than the halacha. If the halacha mamash not allowing it, go ask the rabbi. If it's not allowed, so it's not allowed. We should tell the child, let's put it in the donation box or whatever for people that don't have, or something like that. So you will get rid of this, and it's not gonna be.
like she's saying, like something like shorts. They wear.
So she can wear shorts, but under the skirts, or if she is home. Okay, if it's like if it's at home and it's just like as a pajama or something to be more comfortable, but if she wants to wear it outside, we don't wear shorts outside.
So what do you do in this type of situation?
It's part of the school, like you said. It's part of the environment that they go in.
So again, you cannot fight something. If you send her to a school that this school is not religious, and that's what everybody do. So what do you want her to do? That's what everybody do. You know, that's not her mistake. It's our mistake. We put her there. So yeah, in this case, you would just tell her, listen, this is what needs to be done. It's for you. It's you will decide. Because again, but if everybody in school wears tzanua, so it's easier. So
I have a question.
yeah.
How do you explain to a child why my family keep Shabbat, but when we go over to somebody else's house, why some people are using their own Shabbat, and why people he loves, like his uncles and his grandparents, people my son loves, don't keep Shabbat. How do I explain to him that he sits with his grandpa, he sits with his uncles,
Yeah.
they're using their phone on Shabbat, they'll throw on the TV on Shabbat.
It's very easy.
What's the
Just there are people that they don't know yet, and
But are
they
bad?
they don't
Are they
know.
going to hell? Like, no.
They don't know yet what we know. Hashem didn't open their eyes for that enough, and Bezrat Hashem they will be there, and we have to pray for them as well. But it doesn't mean that they are not good. They are very good people, and we like them, and this is our family, and maybe we were like this before. But we're growing, and Baruch Hashem, we are in that state right now. And they also going to be there.
Listen, why can't I use my phone? What's your answer? Why can't I use my
Like
phone?
you think that everybody who's Jews has to wear a kippah. It's like, why is he not wearing a kippah? Is he Jewish? Yeah, he's Jewish. They're just not religious. They didn't grow up like that.
Yeah.
I think it's good to just be realistic with them, explain to them.
You have to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
The truth
They're gonna
is
grow up and
that
find out the truth, they're gonna hate you.
Judaism says that we should do that. There are some people that are Jewish and they don't do it yet. Why they don't do it yet? We have to ask them. Maybe it's very hard for them. Maybe they didn't get used to it. But definitely this is wrong what they do. We shouldn't do it. Baruch Hashem, we are not in this family. We are in a different family. We do it. We should continue doing it, and I'm sure that he also will do it, and let's encourage them also to be there. Yeah, but the children are smarter than us in a way. They understand everything
The
that
only thing
happens.
I'm worried about is that I'm explaining to my son that you can't do these things on Shabbat because of the holiness of the Sabbath. So if he sees people he loves desecrating the Sabbath in that regard, he might look down on them and look at them as, as a lower.
No, shouldn't be. We shouldn't look down on them because it could be that there are different mitzvot that they do a lot better than us. We are not here to judge who is better than who.
That's a good one.
Could be that in heaven they will be considered more righteous than us because of other things they do. But this particular thing of not keeping Shabbat or not eating kosher, that's not right because the Torah say that we should do it. So they are not there yet. Hopefully they will get there. But we need to be there. We are keeping it, and Baruch Hashem, it's easy for us, and we're happy that we keep it. That's it. We can't. Our kids see what's happening in the world. Yeah, we can't just close their eyes and. So we have to tell them the truth. That's the truth, and we're praying for every Jew to keep it. Okay, Bezrat Hashem. May God bless all of you tzaddikim. And you'll have nachat from your children. It's gonna be easy for you to raise them in a path of Torah and mitzvot. And Bezrat Hashem have many more. Bracha v'atzlacha to Baal Habayit, Yona and his wife. Hashem iten lachem bracha v'atzlacha, Bezrat Hashem, that you will raise all your children in nachat and simcha, to be righteous and tzaddikim, and to get married on time, good zivukim, Bezrat Hashem. We have to pray for that already from now. And all what I told you today, it's tips, it's very important, but the most important, the things that has the biggest influence on your kids is prayer. Prayer can change everything. If you don't pray for your kids, I don't know what's going to be with them. Even if you're the best parent in the world, you give the best example. They need, in their spiritual bank account, they need merits, zchuyot. And this is your prayers will do. That's why there are a lot of people that were very tzaddikim, very righteous, and their kids were not. And there are people that were not very righteous, and their kids were righteous. A lot of time is the prayer. That's why, especially on Shabbat, after Kiddush, very important to bless every kid. Even if you're not home or the kids are not with you, still give them a blessing. Bless them. Say the blessing for them. And Bezrat Hashem, every other occasion, every other holiday that we have after Kiddush, always remember to bless your kids and to ask Hashem with your own words that this kid will grow in a right path, will get married on time without any complications, and Bezat Hashem will be in the direction of Torah. That's what we should always ask, and when you do that, you will get that, Bezat Hashem. Okay, bracha v'atzlacha, and Bezat Hashem, until the next time.